Imagine someone asked you the most important question about your life. What is your very first memory? Most people give the same answer: a birthday, a family trip, the first day of school, maybe a favorite toy. But no matter who you ask, one moment is always missing: the moment you were born. Think about that. Your birth was the most dramatic event you have ever experienced. It was your first breath, your first heartbeat outside the womb, your first encounter with light, sound, cold, and gravity. Yet, somehow, the biggest moment of your life has completely vanished. For centuries, people believed the answer was simple. You were just too young. Your brain wasn't developed enough. Case closed. Except modern neuroscience uncovered something far stranger. Age isn't the real reason. In fact, your brain may never have been capable of storing that memory in the first place. And once scientists understood why, they realized something even more disturbing. The mystery isn't why you forgot your birth. The mystery is how memory actually begins. Because memory is nothing like we imagine. Most of us think of memory as a camera. Something happens, the brain records it, then stores it forever. But your brain doesn't work like a video recorder. It works more like an editor. Every experience must pass through different biological systems before it can become part of your life story. Some memories teach you how to walk. Others help you recognize your parents. Others allow you to remember your 10th birthday. These are not the same kind of memory. They're built by different networks inside the brain. That explains something scientists once found impossible. Babies clearly learn. Only hours after birth, newborns recognize their mother's voice. Within days, they can distinguish familiar smells. Within months, they learn faces, movements, and patterns that help them survive. If babies can learn so much, why can't they remember any of it? To answer that question, researchers designed surprisingly clever experiments. In one famous study, psychologist Carolyn Rovey Collier placed a ribbon between a baby's foot and a colorful mobile hanging above the crib. Every kick made the mobile move. At first, the movement happened by accident. Then, something changed. The babies realized their kicks controlled the toy. Soon they kicked again and again, expecting the same result. They had learned. Even more surprising, when researchers returned later, many babies remembered exactly what to do. The experience had stayed with them. At least for a while. Other experiments reached similar conclusions. Infants could copy actions they had seen before, even after time had passed. They weren't simply reacting, they were remembering. This shattered one of psychology's oldest assumptions. Babies do form memories, so why can't adults access them? Did those memories disappear? Were they erased? Or are they still hidden somewhere inside the brain? The answer lies inside a structure no larger than your thumb, a tiny region buried deep within the brain, one that quietly decides which moments become part of your life and which ones disappear forever. The answer lies inside a structure called the hippocampus. Think of it as the brain's memory librarian. Every day it decides which experiences deserve a permanent place in your life's story. Without it, moments happen, but they never become memories you can revisit. The problem is that when you're born, this librarian is still under construction. Although parts of the hippocampus begin developing before birth, the networks responsible for organizing lasting autobiographical memories are far from complete. They're still wiring themselves together while you're already experiencing the world. That means your first sights, sounds, and sensations aren't missing because they were unimportant. They're missing because the system needed to preserve them wasn't ready yet. But that explanation creates an even bigger mystery. Children can sometimes remember events from when they were 2 or 3 years old. Yet many of those same memories fade away as they grow older. If the memory system is improving, why would memories disappear instead of becoming stronger? The answer may be one of the strangest discoveries in developmental neuroscience. During early childhood, the brain produces enormous numbers of new neurons, especially in regions linked to memory. This process, called neurogenesis, helps the brain learn faster and adapt to an entirely new world. But it comes with a hidden cost. Imagine writing an important message on a whiteboard while someone keeps wiping sections clean to make room for new information. The message isn't erased because it wasn't valuable. It's erased because the board itself is constantly being rebuilt. Scientists believe something similar happens inside the developing brain. As new neural connections rapidly form, older memory circuits become unstable. Instead of protecting every early experience forever, the brain sacrifices some of them to build a stronger and more flexible memory system for the future. In other words, forgetting may be the price of growing. But biology still doesn't explain everything. Even with a mature hippocampus, another essential ingredient is missing from a newborn's mind: a sense of self. Ask yourself a simple question. Who is the main character in your memories? The answer is always you. Every autobiographical memory has a narrator. It isn't just a collection of images, it's an event that happened to someone you recognize as yourself. Newborns don't yet possess that kind of identity. Over the first few years of life, children gradually learn to separate themselves from the world around them. They begin recognizing their own reflection, understanding language, and connecting experiences into a personal story. Only then can memories become chapters in a lifelong autobiography instead of isolated moments. This also explains why adults usually remember events beginning around the age of 3 or 4. By then, the brain isn't just storing experiences, it's storing experiences that belong to a person who knows, "This happened to me." But if forgetting so much of early life seems like a terrible design, why would evolution allow it at all? The answer completely changes the way we think about memory. Instead of asking why we forget our beginning, perhaps we should be asking why remembering everything would have been a disadvantage. Because evolution rarely keeps a feature unless it helps us survive. And in the case of memory, forgetting may have been one of humanity's greatest advantages.